guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. In this episode, I will be talking about tonal curve. We're still going over the sliders in Lightroom, and we're focusing on the tonal curve section of Lightroom as far as the sliders are concerned. So we're going to take one by one what each of them do and how they affect the photo. And I'm going to be continuing editing the same photo from last week, and we're going to go more into detail. Now, if you haven't seen the previous video where I went over the basics section, I will link that in a card, probably somewhere up top or down below, so you can view that video first before getting into this one, which I highly advise, so this one will make more sense. All right, now that that's done, also don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell so that you will not miss out any future content that we will be going over for the next couple of weeks, all about editing in Lightroom and how you can improve your photography. So let's dive into today's video. All right, guys, so we are back, open up into Lightroom using the same photo from last week. We went over everything in the basics section. Now we're going to scroll down and we're going to be looking at tone curve. What is it? How to use it? Everything in that and all those sliders down there as well. All right. Everything to the right of the tone curve is the very bright areas of the photo or your image that you're editing. And then everything to the left of the tone curve is the very dark areas. Think your shadows. So we're going to click into the tone curve and then we're going to drag the dark area down the right hand side, which will make everything darker in your highlights. And then if you do the same thing on the left hand side, dragging your shadows down, that will make the shadows much brighter. And so I'm going to show you how this affects the photo in real time so you can see with your own eyes how it affects the photo. So as you're editing, you can keep this in mind whenever using the tone curve while editing. So we're gonna undo that, and I'm sure you also have noticed these little dots here, or little pinpointers that are around in this area. These represent the sliders down here, your highlights, the light and the dark, and also the shadows. So these points or little dots, they represent the same thing as down there. So you can edit it or adjust it from the dots themselves or from the sliders, whichever way you prefer. And now we're going to get into what each one of these little sliders do to the photo and how they affect it and basically what they mean. So as far as the highlights in the tone curve, it's a great way to add depth to a boring or dull overcast sky. So this photo in particular is not the best example because there's a lot of bokeh in the background. However, if you do have a photo where it just has a very blah and boring, dull, vacant sky, not a lot of, not going on, not a lot in the foreground, this would be a great time to use the highlights to add some depth in there. Now, as far as the lights, they will make your overall photo of the entire image brighter or darker depending on which way you slide the slider. So here's a quick example or demonstration of this. And your darks, it's very similar, except it will only enhance, obviously, the dark parts of the image. So we're going to undo that, and just like the shadows, it's pretty much the same thing. If you bring them down, you will make the very darkest parts of the photo darker, and then if you bring them up, it will obviously do the opposite and lighten up those shadows. So that is it for this tutorial. I hope you learned something of how to use the tone curve next time you want to edit a photo, as far as to what all the sliders mean in this section of Lightroom. And I will catch you guys in the next one, going all over HSL for my next video this week.